Let's see that hammer.
The Irish, they never let you down.
One more time. Thank you.
So your first official win outside of the Ultimate Fighter, how good does this feel?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I'm a realist, and I realize obviously this is not the performance I wanted or expected. But it was very hard to get a knockout against a guy that doesn't really want to engage. There was a lot of talk about 209 and being all this gangster and coming here to kill us and this and that. And yes, when there was 15 of them, they were throwing bottles and they were going at it. But when it was face to face, man to man, all I heard was silence.
So how much of an adjustment did you need to make then during the fight with what you had game planned before?
Yeah, I said it before, I was going to break his legs, and I did just that. And like I said, it was harder to break his face because he was just covering the whole time and didn't really engage. So yeah, I just stayed with it. I kept the pressure on, never took a step back. I made sure that his back was against the fence the whole time. I slipped at one point, and he thought it was Christmas. He jumped on me. He thought I have no ground game. But I said, hold on a second, kid. I'm going to break your legs here as well. And I went for a leg lock, so he had to get out of there. That was nice to show people, I do have a ground game as well.
And you mentioned it to Joe afterwards about being on the same fight card as Conor and how some people don't like to have teammates on the same card. How much does that mean to you tonight to get the momentum going possibly for your team?
Absolutely, even if this was a tiny percentage of help for Conor and tiny percentage that will affect Nate, I wanted to make sure and get that tiny percentage, and I did just that. So I expect big things from the main event tonight. I'm going to be watching, and I know Conor is going to get the win.
Just expanding on that, what were the moments like in the back when you went in the back to celebrate with the team? Did you say anything to Conor about it? Did he say anything to you about how your win has sort of pumped him up for the main event?
I haven't been backstage yet, guys. I'm trying to get through all of you, and I have to say as well. So yeah, thanks for keeping me away from congratulating my teammate.
Did your strategy tonight perhaps give a little bit of insight on what Conor may do with Nate by attacking the legs?
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret. This is the Diaz style. Those leg kicks are always there against them. As many times as they've been kicked in the legs, they didn't seem to adjust anything. So it's no secret, yeah.
Artem, congratulations. Were your hands higher up throughout this fight, more so than usual? It seemed like you were keeping them a little higher than usual.
Yeah, there were certain things I was kind of worked on, and I was hoping that this would work in this fight. But like I said, he didn't really commit too much. I had some nice counters set up from kind of blocking his punches, certain punches that he throws, and then coming back with my own. But he never really let go.
Did you unleash a couple Stockton slaps in the?
Absolutely, but we call them the Shamrock. They're Dublin slaps.
Do you feel like he's UFC caliber? Should he get another fight in the UFC?
I mean, he's a very young kid, so I don't want to, put sticks in his wheels, as we say. He's only 20 years old. I don't think he's maybe caliber yet, and also he wants to watch his behavior, leading up to the thing, throwing bottles and all this. I mean, this is something that's going to get you kicked out of the UFC before your career starts. So he should think for himself, because guess what? Nate and Nick, they're well paid already. They have it all sorted. This kid isn't. So you don't want to ruin your future just like that. So, he needs to make certain adjustments, improve his technique, improve his behavior, and let's all be part of this huge sport that's only going to get bigger.
And it seemed like he wasn't really interested in talking to you afterwards, but you made a point to go up to him, at least to give him a pound or something like that. Why was that important?
Yeah, I'm not sure about from his point, but for me, whatever all this behavior, once the job is done, I always will shake their hands, win or lose. Thank them for the fight. Thank you for sharing the octagon with me, and that's it. That's what I did.
Do you feel like a bit of a weight has been lifted off your shoulders here? That you at least got the win, and now you can just worry about getting on the roll?
Absolutely. Yeah, this was a must-win for me. I lost.
Violence. Sorry. Big job.
Holy.
Okay.
That was a good fight. Hey, Hey, you can stop anything for a good fight. The weight has certainly been lifted off my shoulders, and I'm delighted to get this win. And now the next step is to get that knockout. You know, go back to what the Russian Hammer does best, knocking people out. So that's the next milestone.
How real is the animosity between Team McGregor and Team Diaz? Do you guys, what are your feelings towards? Is it the whole team? Is it just Nate? What kind of feelings are there?
You know, to be honest with you, until that incident with the bottles, you know, I really didn't really give a shit. You know, whatever. You know, I knew that we're gonna fight. So all this talk and what's all this for? You know, we're gonna fight. That's it. There is no need for talking. There is no need for throwing bottles. But you know, then once they did that, you know, I kind of felt like, man, fuck these guys. You know, what is wrong with them? You know, throwing bottles at women. You know, that's just a no for me.
So is the animosity still there now that you're done fighting? Towards
It's just I find it hard to respect them outside of the octagon. You know what I mean? It's, you know, this kind of people. Imagine somebody threw a bottle at your daughter, at your mom, at your girlfriend. How would you feel towards someone like that?
What's your role now going back to the locker room? What are you doing for?
I was hoping obviously to be in Conor's corner, but you know, because of my own fight, you know, I will not be walking him out to the cage, but I'll certainly go back and I'll stay back there till he makes his walk.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Thanks very much, guys.